Hi everyone, and how are you, my friends? Hope you are doing well and you are doing well in your every pursuit. And now we are going to talk about the economic development based on GDP growth. Whether this GDP growth based prediction or assessment of your economic health is a good way to understand the health of economy in a particular country, especially in India, where around 46% of your employment is being generated in agricultural sector. But in most of the developed country, when you talk about Japan and other developed country, it is less than 10%. So, for becoming a developed country, you need to shift this labor force from primary sector to secondary or tertiary sector, that is the manufacturing and service sector. And GDP growth based prediction and assessment of economy only talks about the size of your economy, not about the every health or every aspect of your economy, right? So you need to understand many parameters in order to appreciate the economic health of the country, especially the per capita income, because we are a huge country, we have huge population, and when you are going to divide your total GDP numbers, which is around 4 trillion, or you can say 4,000 billion economy, means 1,000 billion is equal to 1 trillion. So we are around 4,000 billion or more than 4,000 billion economy, which is amount to which go up to 4 trillion economy. So when you divide these numbers by your population, it will come down, and it will be very you can say per capita income will be very lower than the other developed countries like Japan and other countries. It will be between 2,000 to $3,000. So of course, in terms of the size of your economy, you will become one of the fourth largest country, leaving Japan behind. But in terms of GDP, what will happen to you, and what will happen to other things? What is your status regarding infant mortality rate? What is your status about life expectancy? In Japan and other small developed country, it is around 80. So these are the things which need to be appreciated by us, that whether we are going to become a developed country soon. I'm not pessimistic. What I want to appreciate, what I want to discuss is that where we are lacking. We need to focus on health. We need to focus on education. What is our educational skills? We are struggling to upgrade and up skill our workforce. Our manufacturing sector is not performing well. If you want to become a developed economy by 2047, we need to grow by 8% of our GDP. And whether it is going to be possible, our economy is not going beyond 7%, 7% growth of our GDP. So how it will be happening? What about our education sector? What about health sector? What about agricultural sector? What about manufacturing sector? Even in these sectors, a particular sectors are performing well, not all sectors. Construction sectors is doing well, but only construction sector is not sufficient to make India a developed country. So the all sector needs to be handled well. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to become a developed country. In size, you can become because you are a big country, but in terms of per capita income, what is your status? What is comparison between per capita income of your country and other countries, other developed countries? You are lagging behind. You are lagging behind. And some economist in our country is asserting that the India has become a 15 trillion economy in PPP calculation, power purchasing power parity calculation, and it is not other than the vice president or vice chairman of Niti Aayog, Suman Beri. He has asserted that we have become half of US economy, that is the 15,000 billion economy means the 15 trillion economy. Is that the right calculation? And when we divide this 15,000 billion economy or 15 trillion economy by our population, what will be the number? We are a huge country. We have huge population, and it will be between merely 2000 to 3000 per capita income. And what is comparison between Indians per capita income and Americans per capita income? It is a huge difference, right? So don't make that kind of fool assertion, right? So we must know the basics of these things, and we must know that, and even Indian economist or world economist like Emerson has written about this. That GDP numbers is not a true depiction of economic health of a country. It is just a number. It is the aggregate number, and by definition of GDP, you know that. And what is the GDP? Gross domestic product. It is the gross number of the production and services of your country in a financial year, when you can calculate the prices of those services and products in a particular financial year. That is the aggregate numbers. And on the basis of aggregate numbers, you are not showing the particular sectors of the economy, which sector is playing well, which sector is generating employment, what is your ratio of labor force in your economy, what is the formal sector, what is the informal sector. You are knowing that 80% of our job is available in informal sector, and only around 10 or 12% jobs are available in the formal sectors. And in that formal sector also, most of the job is available in the agricultural sector, which is overburdened. And it is totally a contradiction between developed and developing country like India, where in case of developed country, they have less employment in the agricultural sector, even less than 10%. But we have around 46%, 45%. It is in contrast with the pattern of developed country and developing country like India. So how we are going to solve unless and until we are shifting labor forces from agriculture to manufacturing sector, and manufacturing sector is not doing well. It is very disturbing. If you want to become a developed country, you need to focus on manufacturing sector, and government of India is providing lot of subsidies and help to that sector, but they are not doing well. And if they are not doing well, how we are going to absorb that population or labor force which are still stuck in agricultural sector? This is very, very important. So many economists is raising these questions and asking that this big economy illusion should be based on different things, and it should be analyzed in very, 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 very scientific and cautious way, because those economists who are recognized as official economics, and they are believing in the government's narrative, are depicting all is well picture, but that is not true, because you are lagging behind on many parameters, especially on HDI, Human Development Index, where India is standing. We are also great in these parameters. And why I am saying great? Why I am saying great? Not great in terms of your performance. You are not performing well on these parameters, right? So what is our status on HDI? We have 0.685. That is the number given to India. That is number given to India. And even Bangladesh and Afghanistan is well above in this parameter. So in HDI index also, which depicts educational level, your health of people of that country, and living standard, you are lagging behind on that parameter. So we need to focus on that parameters also, that how our educational level, how our health, how our living standard can increase, how the per capita income of India can be increased. And unless and until we are addressing those things, the policy makers who are supporting the government policy, and they are officially recognized as a government economist, will try to convince us on the basis of GDP numbers, which is not truly depicting our economic health of the country. So don't be blinded by those numbers, GDP numbers. You need to look beyond that GDP numbers, that it is not the true depiction of economic health of our country. Rather, we need to focus on different parameters which are depicting the real picture. For example, the GDP numbers are not depicting the distribution of wealth in the country, the actual numbers of inequality in this country, how wealth has been concentrated in the few hands. That is not being depicted. Even unpaid work has not been calculated in the GDP numbers. Of course, GDP numbers might increase when we will calculate the unpaid workers and their incomes, their contributions, but they are not being included. They are not being included. And we are not discussing that how the concentration of wealth is going in this country, how inequality is increasing, how inflation is going on. So this is very, very important to understand the different parameters being developed by the economists to understand the actual health of our country, actual economic health of our country, right? So be aware about these things. Be aware about the concentration of wealth, inequality in distribution of the wealth, inequality in distribution of resources. Why some people are monopolizing? Why some people have full control over the resources of the country in collaboration of the government of India and government of the states? Why everyone is not getting opportunity? Why some families and some corporations, where the corporation and governments are collaborating with each other in order to develop monopoly? Some company are entering in every sector of the economy. It is not a competition. It is oligarchy. It is monopolistic tendencies, where government is giving all the contracts, all the resources to a private company. Even the government is becoming corporate. They are supporting corporates. This is the corporatization of the government. This is the corporatization of public sector. So this is very important to understand in order to know the actual status of our economic health of our country. So this is very, very important, guys, and you need to understand. I have just tried to show you that the GDP numbers is not the actual thing to understand your economic health, and it is not me who is saying this. There are many economists in this world who are saying that GDP number is not the true way to depict the economic health of your country. So know those economics, their writings, and try to understand the economic health of our country, whether we are going to make a robust economic society of India, or we are going to increase disparity, inequality, injustice, discrimination by just hiding the true health of our country in a way by showing the GDP numbers only. They are beating the drum that the GDP number is increasing, GDP number is increasing, and that is all about our economy. No, it is those who are representing the government, because they have not guts to show that economy is not in a good health. So try to think beyond their assertion and their narratives, right? They are building narratives. A narrative is not always true. It is not based on the true facts. So see behind that narrative and see beyond the narrative. Unless and until you are going to see behind the narrative and beyond the narrative, you are not going to understand their intentions and their true natures, true nature, right? The true nature of that narrative is to hide many informations in name of GDP. So GDP is not the true things, true parameters to gaze or to appreciate the economic health of your country. So be aware about that. Be aware that what things are being hidden from you, what they are hiding, and what they are showing, how selective they are. These are the very important questions to understand, right? So with this I will conclude my brief discussion about this, and when I will get the time, I will try to have a detailed discussion on this aspect, that what is good way to look at the economic health of your country. With this, thank you so much, guys, and I will request that if you like my discussion, my channel, my diverse topics on this channel, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, share the videos, and surely and certainly comment. Write a comment in the comment box. You can you can suggest some things, you can suggest some topics, you can also suggest some improvement. So with this, thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.